Are you the black sheep of your family? Do you feel misunderstood? Don't you find it weird that your family, the people who live in the same house as you, know the least about you? I am the girl who isolates herself from her family. Um, why am I so awkward? It's so easy. Just say hi. Okay, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna get a little personal. Just a little personal. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. Not too much. But yes, I am the girl who isolates herself from her family. I can go all day about a list of things on why I do that. We can talk about trauma, neglect, mental health, and all that stuff. Like, we can really get deep, but like, if I ever did that, this would be like a 3-hour video, and I don't want to do that. This is just something that I want to share. I feel like a lot of Gen Z teens or like young adults go through this with their families or whatever the case may be. Like, if this is relatable to you, let your girl know. So, isolating myself from my family. A lot of people may say that isolation is a bad thing. People may say that sometimes you may need isolation. But I feel like isolation is a thing that someone only really needs if they want to better themselves. That's one, or if they want to block out or set boundaries with people in their life, with their friends, their parents, their family. So, isolating myself from my family, being very misunderstood. I feel like a lot of times as a young adult, you're naturally going to be misunderstood or whatever, but it's a difference between going through life and being misunderstood and then people choosing to not understand you. When two people don't have the same outlook on life, that kind of sucks, especially when it's your family, your blood. So that's trash. Constantly being told that I'm wrong and what I'm feeling is not valid. There's always a clash with the older and the younger generation, whether it's emotionally, mentally, financially. We're never going to understand each other. I've come to a conclusion where I'm like, okay, well, if that's what it's going to be, then it is what it is. Being misunderstood when it comes to occupations, me expressing myself, school, when it comes to how I want to navigate my own life. I do come to an understanding when they were younger, they were misunderstood. So the cycle continues, right? But I will be putting a stop to it. It's obviously a cycle. They can't control that. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. With being misunderstood, I give myself everything, mentally, emotionally, anything that's going to help me get through my everyday life day by day. I can provide everything mentally and emotionally for myself, and I have been for years. Sorry. Let me take these glasses off. I just needed them for a minute because if you see me like looking down, like once in a while, it's because I have notes. I am 19 and I am a sophomore in college. Years, maybe since seventh grade, I want to say, which that sucks, but it's the truth. It is something that is sad if you look at it that way, but the way that I see it is I'm extremely proud of myself. Having no help emotionally when you're depressed or anything like that, but somehow you got out of a rut by yourself with your own help, like, that's amazing. It feels like I'm my own parent sometimes. It feels like I had to raise myself. Obviously, speaking without the house that I live in, without some of the clothes that I have for myself, which I am very grateful for that they have provided me with these things. I'm very grateful for that. But yes, just speaking emotionally and just my mental state and everything, yeah, I'm super proud of myself, and that's all that matters. A lot of times we always have this victim mentality and we're like, oh, well, this happened to me, and now because this happened to me, I'm this way, and they leave it at that. But instead of thinking of it in that way, it has to be okay, this happened to me, so what am I going to do about it to change it? What am I going to do about it to fix it? Or to make myself feel better? There's something I need to change about myself that's going to make me feel better in this predicament, in this circumstance. Another reason, I am my own safe space. Whenever I want to be understood, I go to myself. Whenever I need some uplifting, I come to myself. I work on that. I work, whether it's confidence or self-improvement, anything that pertains to growth or anything like that. I come to myself because I know that I can rely on myself. Not all the way, but I have built a certain level of self-trust. I am fully capable. Honestly, all of this sounds so depressing, like when I say it out loud, but I say all this to just say that I am amazing. I have enough confidence to say that if I was somebody else, I would confide in me. Like, I would ask me for advice. I would come to myself for comfort and affection or whatever, because I know that I can provide that. So that's a good thing. At first, the isolation was definitely a trauma response, but now I actually enjoy it. The more you spend time with yourself, the more that you actually start to love yourself. Now it's become such a fun thing that I've turned into a beautiful thing out of something so, trust me, miserable, depressing, and just so sad. I've turned it into something so amazing. I'm happy to be able to admit that I'm not so bad. I'm not so bad. Some people can't stand to be alone or be alone with their own thoughts. They can't stand to be in their own head about things. So I am so thankful. If only you guys knew how thankful I am. I'm so thankful for myself. Mostly, I am so thankful for myself. Going through a situation like this where you are going through a self battle when it comes to you and your loved ones, and you want to just be by yourself, you have to be thankful, because that just shows that when you have nobody, you have yourself. When you only have yourself, you have to make yourself a safe space for your own thoughts, for your own feelings. You have to make you your own home. All of this warms my heart so much that I can be this thankful for myself, and I can have so much inner peace with knowing that I can rely on myself. It really, really warms my heart. I don't only make others feel better from time to time, but I also have my own back, and I can use the same happiness that I give others back to myself. Also, I am more than blessed to stay in my own space. I treat my room like it's a studio apartment. That's the kind of boundary that I've set. Like, I treat my room like it's my own studio apartment. I keep my weekly meal prep bowls in my room, snacks, groceries like rice or cooking oil. I know it's ridiculous. Toilet paper, because I was told I had to buy my own. I know it sounds so terrible. Ugh. And I literally bought my own cabinets for my own storage. My room is my house, and you know what? I don't mind all the BS because I have a room, and I'm more than grateful. So I don't only have a safe space in my head, but I've made a safe place physically in my own tiny little space. So imagine how it's going to feel when I have my own house or apartment and I make that my safe space. Like, just thinking about it just makes me so excited. Boundaries. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. I isolate myself because I need to set a boundary. Boundaries are so important. If you don't set boundaries with people, you're always going to be disrespected. People are going to always take advantage of you. People are always going to walk all over you. They're going to talk to you any way they want to. And you have to be like, no, you're not going to do that. This is my safe space. This is where I want my energy to be. And that's how it is. And if they cannot understand that, then you're going to take your safe space somewhere else. Of course, I have not gotten to that point, as you can tell. But at the end of the day, boundaries are a very, very key point. I feel like when you already give out the energy of like, I'm keeping to myself, I'm working on myself, I'm isolating myself, and this is where I'm happy, and you express that to your loved ones, they can come to an understanding where it's like, okay, you know what? Even if they're upset about it, even if they're mad about it, because that's happened to me before. Even if they're upset about it and they're like, you know what, just stay, okay, just stay in your little bubble, however you want to do, be selfish, blah 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 blah, ungrateful, blah blah blah, all the things that parents or the older generation throw at you to make you feel bad about being happy or wanting to set a boundary, which every human should do. Boundaries are very important. Even if it comes off like that, take that and be like, okay, so this is what it's going to be. For example, as you saw in my most recent video, if you have not checked it out, please click the link in the bio and check out my most recent video. I went to New York City and I had a girls' night out and I had the best time ever. I wouldn't want to do with anybody else. I love my girls. I love them so much. My mom did not let me go to New York for the longest. I have friends in New York. I want to see my friends. We're all in college. It's been a long time since I've seen my friends, unless it's during the summer. And like, I don't like waiting all year round to see my friends. Like, those are literally my sisters. I'll call them my sisters. There was a point where I was like, no, I want to go to New York. I want to learn how to travel. I want to know how to navigate through my life. I want to know how to do all this stuff. But I felt so held back because of my specifically my mother. A lot of mothers are like this though. Like, I get it, they want their children to be safe. I understand. But she was like, Smaya, no, it's not gonna happen. Blah, blah, blah. Until one day I was like, Mom, I am not a child. I am an adult. I can make my own decisions. I know you're going to be scared. I know the world is scary. I know traveling in general is scary, okay? But I had to set this boundary where it's like, okay, I am not 12 years old anymore. It is time for you to let go. And she was very, very upset about it. But I don't know if my dad was so much, but my mom was very, I'm her only girl, so it's understandable. She was so upset about it. She was like,
You know what? Go ahead and go. If something bad happens to you, blah, blah, blah.
I canceled all of it out. I completely canceled all of it out. And I was like, you know what? I will take that as a, okay, go ahead and go. Boom. Just like that. Even if they get upset, they just start blurting out whatever, ignore that and live your life. Boundaries, set boundaries with people. Even if you don't know the reaction that you're going to get, it does not matter. Take action even if you have fear. In that moment, I felt so much fear from my parents. Sorry, I had to burp. Oh my gosh, I'm always burping. In that moment, I felt fear from that, and I just completely zoned out and didn't even take in that energy, because the best version of Mango is to be the most fearless person ever. That's the best version of myself. That's one of the biggest characteristics that the best version of myself has, being fearless. And I will not have anybody instill fear into me. I will not have anybody make me feel a certain way. If I say that I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through with it. If I'm passionate about something, I'm going to follow through with it. That's who I am. That's who I want to be. And that's what it was. Generational curses. This is one of the number one reasons why I do isolate myself. Generational curses are very real. And a lot of times, in a lot of families, they don't take that seriously. They acknowledge it, but they don't do anything to change it. And me isolating myself and figuring out who I am as a person, who I want to be as a person, what I can fix, figuring out the things that I don't no longer need in my life. Isolating helps with a lot of that. You can only control what you can control. You can't control anybody else's behavior. So if I were to talk to my loved ones and say, hey, y'all gotta change, because if y'all don't change, I don't change, that would be complete nonsense. And don't ever use your family as an excuse for why you are who you are, because at the end of the day, it is a choice. It is your choice, and it's how you make your life. It's the same thing as when you are around bad people, you become a bad person. When you're around intellectual people, you become to gain knowledge like an intellectual person. If you hang out with thieves, you become a thief. If you hang out with bullies, you have the potential to become a bully. I don't want to be toxic or carry generational curses, so I take time away from the people who hold that and they don't change from it. If it's a friend and you get too caught up with their struggles and them fighting their own personal demons, that energy can come onto you, and you will start to gain demons that you're fighting yourself. And you're like, okay, I need some time apart. I need some space, because I can't think clearly when I'm around this energy. I can't be the best version of myself when I'm around this energy. I cannot do that. So in order to control what you can't control, because you can't control what they do, you control what you do, and you stay away from it. Obviously still come around, express how much you love them, say hi, don't like completely avoid them, still acknowledge it. But that is just how I handle my circumstances. I isolate myself in a healthy way. I'm not just doing BS behind my bedroom door. Like, I work on myself every day. I always find a new way to work on myself. It's not a game. It's really not a game. When it comes to generational curses, it is not a game. It's really not. Whenever I am away from my family, I take every single opportunity that I can to work on something. Work on something I know that my future self would look down at me and be like, Sanaya, no. That is not who we are. That is not what we do. Don't get me wrong. This is not to say that people don't make mistakes. This is not to say that people can't learn from their mistakes, because I've made plenty of mistakes. So many. If I didn't, I would not be human. I am not perfect and nobody else is. But it is important to stay away from people who know that they make mistakes and they don't fix them and they identify with it and it's just who they are. You don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Yeah. Basically. I say all of this to say that this journey, this choice of not necessarily putting myself in a box, but setting a boundary for myself, walking away from things that I cannot control, is for me to find my inner happiness and my inner peace. I do all of this to protect my peace, and with the amount of self-respect that I've built over the years, I will do anything that it takes to protect myself, my emotions, my mental health, my self-growth. If I have to put my own oven and refrigerator in my room, I will do so if it's going to quiet out the world on the outside of that bedroom door and protect my sanity. And you should too. That might sound so dramatic, but I'm so serious. Prioritize yourself so much, so much, that it would take nothing for you to stop doing that. And that is my advice to you. Protect your inner peace. Family is supposed to be your safe place, but very often it is the place where you find the most deepest heartache, and it happens. You can't fix toxic, but you can control your exposure to it. When you set boundaries, you take back the power from those who have been taking it away from you. And besides, I see a certain life for myself, and I won't stop until I get it. No friends, no family, or any loved ones will ever stop me or stop that from happening. And with that being said, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everybody who is following and subscribe and likes my videos, even though it is not much, but I am completely grateful for that. I know that I will keep thriving. I know that I will keep growing, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video relatable, let me know in the comments below. Say how you feel. Tell me your experience in navigating bumping heads with your loved ones, the things that everybody goes through once in a while. Always remember, put yourself first. I love you. Love yourself. Take back your power. Always. See you next time.